The fragile U.S.-Iran ceasefire is under strain this morning as American forces launch retaliatory strikes near the Strait of Hormuz.
And President Trump is now warning that the U.S. may have to finish what they started if Iran continues to strike.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with those details. Madeline?
Hi, good morning. U.S. officials say Iran had a chance to stop shooting, and they did not take it. Instead, they attacked another ship Saturday morning, a Panama-flagged tanker traveling through the Strait of Hormuz. As a result, CENTCOM says U.S. military aircraft targeted Iranian military surveillance infrastructure, communication systems, air defense sites, drone storage facilities, and mine layer capabilities. Commercial vessel transits through the Strait of Hormuz continue. U.S. forces remain vigilant, lethal, and ready. A senior U.S. official tells our Jennifer Griffin the strikes were larger than the ones the U.S. forces carried out on Friday, but they had to hit areas where Iran has regrouped some military assets. An official tells Jennifer, in the time since the ceasefire on April 7th, Iran has reconstituted, thus the targets around the Strait of Hormuz. There's a lot that is damaged, a lot, but they move things around. Iran, in retaliation, launched missiles and drones on U.S. military sites in Kuwait and Bahrain. They're promising more action if the tit-for-tat continues.
What matters is that whatever action the enemy takes, we have responded and will continue to respond. We have repeatedly said that if the enemy once again breaks its commitments or violates the ceasefire, our response will be stronger than before. We stress once again that it will be stronger.
This exchange raises questions over whether the U.S. and Iran can reach a lasting peace deal. The president saying it is very possible that they will never learn. There may come a point when we are no longer able to be reasonable and will be forced to militarily complete the job that we very successfully started. If that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist. There are no reports so far of damage and injuries in Kuwait. Bahrain, meantime, says the Iranian strikes damaged a residential building near the airport, but no one was killed. Charlie, Rachel, and Griff.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie.
You know, the vice president said this week that the United States holds all the cards in this situation, and that is true. But at the same time, Iran has total control over where this goes. And if they cooperate with the peace deal, then this sort of thing is not going to happen. If they don't, it's going to keep happening. Yeah, and look, you look at what we have learned about from Maddie and others, Trey Inks, Jen Griffin, that the strikes overnight were striking the communications, the air defense, the drone storage facilities, the mine-laying facilities, that we have the best technology. We know where these things are. And so this strike is simply reminding them that there's two paths. Right. And President Trump and Vice President Vance on this couch with us laid it out, saying there's two. We win either way. We can do it whichever way you want to do it, but we are going to go one path or the other, decided by you and the choices you make.
Those are military decisions, but there's also the politics. 67% of Americans like the peace deal. Yeah. And so that's a challenge politically for the president. People want this war to be over. They want their gas prices done. And also, there's a lot of candidates that are running for office right now on the Republican side who would like this to end so gas prices can drop and they can start talking about American issues ahead of the midterm. So there's a military question here, but there's also, you can never take the politics out of it.
Yeah. No. And of course, nobody wants that more than Trump himself.
Of course.
Yeah. It's a good point. Overnight, the Iran terror regime striking Bahrain and Kuwait in response to U.S. strikes on Iranian sites near the Strait of Hormuz has continued Iranian aggression tests an already shaky ceasefire.
President Trump warning, quote, there may come a point when we're no longer able to be reasonable and will be forced to militarily complete the job that we very successfully started, as peace negotiations are still technically underway.
Talk radio host Sid Rosenberg was just in Israel last week, and he joins us now. I guess the first question is, what was it like over there? Did you notice any of this over there?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I spoke at a conference with one of the biggest media networks in New Jersey, in Israel, I should say. And the talk was President Trump and Iran. You have to understand, the Israeli people are watching this very, very closely, because when bombs start to fly, it's not Brooklyn, it's not Cincinnati, it's Tel Aviv, it's Jerusalem. So they're paying very close attention. And to be honest, they're not very happy with what's going on with President Trump and the United States. They want to see us just level this Iranian regime. knock them out, and start this thing over with. So the truth is, in Israel, where Bibi continues to be obviously vilified all over the world, they are watching this very closely. They want ultimate surrender and ultimate victory, none of this peace talk.
But what if the cost of that is much higher prices in gas, maybe even we run out of gasoline, or boots on the ground? Is that a reasonable price to pay in order to take out the regime for America, not for Israel, but you're an American.
I'm an American, and I'm a MAGA Trump guy. I love President Trump. If you're watching, I love you. We need to win in November. That's the bottom line. And to your point, Rachel, no, this is disastrous at this point. But the Israelis don't care. And the truth is, for America, if we're going to win this, there's only one way to win. You know, I keep hearing, well, diplomacy, let's have an honest conversation. That's not going to happen. I'm guaranteeing this audience right now, Iran will, A, never agree to a deal, and if they do, they will never comply. Not in a million years. We can threaten them all we want with economic sanctions. We're going to blow you up. They don't care.
But you're not answering the question about boots on, because then we have to make a decision. Do we put boots on the ground? Because it will take that.
We may have to in terms of getting to that uranium, right? It's going to be difficult to get it there from the air. And look, my child is not in the service, so I don't want to come off as insensitive to people children, they do serve this country, and they're heroes and they're courageous. But look, you can't start this thing and not finish, Rachel, Griff, and Charlie. That's the bottom line. We started off great. Epic Fury was amazing. It was fantastic. So was Midnight Hammer. Right now, we're stuck. We're stuck. And even though we call the shots, I'm not sure we really do. I'm being honest here. So if you're going to start this thing, you got to finish it. And right now, we're not finishing it. So if it means getting some boots on the ground, do what you got to do to win this and end this.
To challenge you a little bit, Sid, is it a bit over exaggeration to say that we're stuck because President Trump is showing patience to say he's going to play this out? But as J.D. Vance, Vice President, said here, that we've already won because we've put this decision in their hands. Everybody knows, and President Trump and J.D. Vance are well aware that the IRGC commander, Ahmad Vahidi, is complicating things when Ghalibaf sits down at the negotiation table. But the way the administration sees it, and President Trump, is we can go as long as we want, and ultimately finishing it for good is on the table.
We can't go for as long as we want. Clearly, the gas prices are too high. Midterms are coming up. Look, let's have an honest discussion about this, too. I'm a sports guy, Griff. Yeah. I worked on WFAN for many, many years. The game is not over in the sixth inning. We haven't won anything yet. I'm sorry, Mr. President, to break the news, but we haven't won anything yet. There has been no end to this. We're kind of in the same exact place we were a couple of months ago. They're still striking us. We're still striking them. Israel is still nervous. And quite frankly, American voters are still nervous. So how do you claim victory when the game is far from over? Yeah. We're in the sixth inning.
Not claiming victory, just saying we're not stuck because no option that we had going into this are off the table.
The Iranians are the ones that, at the end of the day, are either going to take this or not. So we keep threatening them, and they don't care. So how are we not stuck? What are we doing that's provoking Iran to make them do what we want them to do? You tell me, Griff.
I don't know, but 67% of Americans like the deal and want us to get out of the war. So how do you deal with that?
Well, there is no deal. There's a memorandum of understanding. We know that. There's no deal in place yet.
It's the first step, right?
Yeah, listen, nobody wants people to die. President Trump is one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. You know this. All three of you are friendly with him. He doesn't want people to die. Voters don't want people to die. But this is war, okay? A 47-year war. We didn't start this, but President Trump showed the courage that the last 7 presidents didn't. So if you're going to start it, you got to finish it. And unfortunately, in war, people do die, even innocent civilians. So either going to finish this thing or continue to go back and forth on every Saturday and Sunday, because I love you guys. I'm going to hear you discuss the same thing. We want peace. Despite the best attempts of Trump, Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner, right now, to be honest, we're nowhere. We're nowhere.
Well, for certain, what you just said right there is exactly right. You know, presidents have wrestled with this for decades, and President Trump is the first person to come along, even in an election year, and say, I'm going to fix this because he does believe.
And he deserves credit for that. He's an amazing man, a great president, but we have to get to the place here where we're closer to the finish. We're not there yet.
Sid Rosenberg, always great to see you.
Great conversation.
Thanks for being here, brother.
Nice to see you too, buddy.
Yeah. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.